I thought I was chasing freedom. What I didn't realize was that freedom has its own price tag, and it's not always money. Leaving behind a stable career as a corporate tax attorney to become a full time traveler, digital entrepreneur was one of the boldest and scariest moves of my life. Hi, I'm Amber Hoffman, and if you've been following along, you know that the first quarter of my adult life was spent in the corporate world. I was a tax attorney, working long hours, climbing the ladder, and doing all of the right things that were expected of me. In episode 2, I shared how travel opened my eyes that there was more to life than billable hours. And in episode 3, we talked about the decision point, that tug of war between stability and freedom. This episode is about what happened next, because once I made the leap, life really did change. When my husband Eric and I first left the US to travel, we traveled full time for several months and ultimately landed in Bali, Indonesia. It felt like another world. We traded corporate commutes for motorbike rides through the rice paddies. Our new office was a cafe filled with other digital nomads and dreamers who were working on their laptops. From Bali, we spent time in Bangkok, where the city buzz became our backdrop. We had outgrown the small village life in Bali and went full circle, landing in a city of 10 million people. But after 18 months, it became too big. We were like Goldilocks, trying to find the perfect place that fit us just right. Then came Spain. With long lunches and late night tapas, we ended up staying in Spain for 3 years until COVID drove us to something more comfortable, Ireland. With family and friends, it was the perfect place to hunker down during a global pandemic. In Ireland, life slowed down a bit, and I felt both connected to my roots and stretched in new ways. We also had to switch our source of income as well. Where we were once travel bloggers, now there was no travel, and I had to find a new career of sorts. So, in between when we left the US and when we came back to the US, we sort of crisscrossed the globe. We traveled through much of South America, Asia, and Europe, chasing both adventure and a good Wi Fi signal. It was exciting, messy, beautiful, and unpredictable, just how I wanted it. At first, it felt like I had hacked the system. I was working from Portugal 1 week and Italy the next. In 2019 alone, we took 5 trips to Italy. That's easy to do when your home airport was Barcelona. My laptop was my office and the world was my view. I was consulting, travel blogging, and we had income streams that weren't tied to a boss or a law firm. But here's the part I didn't post on Instagram: the fear, the sleepless nights wondering if we had made a mistake, saying yes to projects I wasn't passionate about just to cover the bills, the constant need to explain to friends and family what exactly it was that I did now. It was freedom, but it was also unstable, unglamorous, and at times incredibly lonely. It was interesting to be part of a travel blogging community online, and we occasionally met in person. But for the most part, we didn't have friends locally. We traveled just the two of us, and it is possible to be lonely even when you're in a couple. And yet, with all of that, there were moments I wondered, did I regret our decision? People would ask me if I'd ever had regrets about leaving the law. Perhaps I did once in a while. I certainly missed the paychecks. I wondered if I had stayed as a partner for just 2 years, how much more money would we have had in the bank to essentially bankroll our lifestyle and live with more security? But if I had stayed that extra 2 years, perhaps I never would have left at all. Everyone loves the idea of the laptop lifestyle, and it definitely seems glamorous. It does come with some beautiful moments. Long hikes in the Costa Brava. I wrote and published a book from a cafe in Bangkok and finished my second book while spending a month in Mexico at the beach, watching the sunrise over the rice fields in Bali before diving into some work. But what you don't see in those highlight reels on Instagram is the Wi Fi that cuts out in the middle of a call. The unpredictability of income from month to month, the juggling act of trying to live this dream life while also trying to build something sustainable. Our travel blog hosting crashed when we were at the beach in Ireland, running our laptops from nothing more than a weak hotspot on our phones. Because our lifestyle was so unique at that time, traveling full time and not really having a home, I got caught in immigration in Northern Ireland and entered the country in tears. We once lost power in Bali for 2 days because a local man got so angry with the power company, he wielded a machete when the tech came to fix an outage. We often lost power, generally for a few hours at a time. When storms rolled in, we would race to charge our phones and our laptops just in case those few hours turned into a few days. Yes, we were surrounded by beauty in the rice fields of Bali, but when our water pump ran on electricity, we would have no showers and had to use the pool water to help flush the toilet. Glamorous? Definitely not. And honestly, the shift from being a respected tax attorney with a clear title to just, well, figuring it out as I went, that was a hit to my ego as well. Freedom doesn't always feel glamorous when you're starting from scratch. And this is the point that I want to drive home. Freedom is worth it, but it comes with trade offs. You trade security, predictability, and identity for choice, possibility, and self determination. Some days that trade felt like the best decision I'd ever made. Other days I longed for some more stability, the stability that I'd walked away from. But here's what I learned: the messiness is just part of the journey. The second quarter of my career wasn't just about building a laptop lifestyle or a digital nomad business. It was about learning who I was without the title of attorney and how much risk I was willing to live with to design a life that actually fit me. My business cards, my LinkedIn profile, it generally read during those years, recovering attorney and professional eater. And for a while, that worked out just fine for me. So if you're standing at that same crossroad, thinking about leaving something stable for something more free, I want you to know the leap is worth it, but it's not easy. It will test your confidence. It will challenge your definition of who you are and your definition of success. And it will force you to grow in ways that the stable path never would. Security cost me my freedom, but freedom also cost me my security, if that makes sense. But given the choice, I pay the price again and again. In my next episode, I'll share how I learned to turn all that uncertainty into something more stable without giving up the freedom I fought so hard to create. So if you're curious about what comes after the leap, make sure you stick around and subscribe for more stories. I don't have this channel fully mapped out yet, but I promise it'll be an honest, unfiltered look at the messy, beautiful reality of building a life abroad, of building online businesses, and then returning to the US to become an entrepreneur on a home soil. So if that's the kind of story you need right now, hit subscribe and join me.